What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital, and we're here with Ramon Barua, CEO and Director of Aclara Resources. It's a pleasure to have you on, Ramon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Aaron. Thank you very much for hosting us. I am very enthusiastic about this chat with you. Thank you.
Yes. So, can you start by telling us Aclara's elevator pitch and all about the company?
Excellent way to start. So yes, look, well, first, when we look at the context, where the world is going, we see that the electric revolution is already here, no? And that means that there are several technologies that are progressing quite quickly, and we see particularly electric vehicles demand growing quite exponentially. These electric vehicles are going to need certain critical minerals that were not used, of course, in the previous version in the internal combustion vehicles. No? Namely, you have in the case of the battery, you have lithium, cobalt, nickel, but also in the motor, you have rare earths. Unfortunately, the world is, consumers have been faster to adapt these new technologies, and the world is still figuring how to supply these critical elements. So that imbalance between supply and demand is creating a lot of pressure in prices. Specifically, talking about rare earths, probably you know this, but most of rare earths are coming originally from China, no? Probably under not the most or under the best environmental standards. So that creates another business opportunity because consumers that are going to really acquire these technologies to fight against climate change, they're not looking to solve a problem by creating another problem, no? So in supplying critical elements in a clean, traceable, and environmentally sustainable way, we believe that there exists a very special, market opportunity. And that is precisely what Aclara, our company, is expected to do or will do, is to address this need. We have two competitive advantages. The first one is we have a unique deposit. It's called an ionic clay deposit of rare earths in Chile. Chile is a country at the bottom of South America. And our second competitive advantage is that in coordination with several universities, notably the University of Toronto and the University of Concepcion in Chile, we have been able to develop a unique process that we have patented. It's an award-winning process. I just received on the mail, you can see in the background, the prize from Business Intelligence as a Sustainable Initiative of the Year 2022. So the combination of those two things, having a great deposit with a great process will allow Aclara to offer the most demanded rare earths in the world, but produce also in an outstanding, using outstanding environmental standards.
Yeah, that's truly a unique story. So let's talk a little bit more about rare earths. So rare earth elements are lesser known in the investment world compared to, let's say, critical metals for green energy technologies like copper and lithium. So can you tell us more about rare earth elements and what makes them so unique and important?
Of course. The first thing to understand is that rare earths are not rare, no? However, they are found always together, and there are 17 different elements. But within these elements, there are significant differences amongst them. And there are some that sell, let's say, for $1 a kilo, but there are others that sell for close to $2,000 a kilo. Okay, so I think that's the first important thing to understand. Second is that rare earths are not battery metals. They do not go into the battery. They go into the motor of an electric vehicle. In an electric vehicle, you take the energy coming from the battery and you take it to the motor, where there are some copper coils that create electromagnetism to make that motor rotate, okay? And of course, the power of the motor is in proportion to the amount of energy that you are able to extract. There are 4 rare earth elements that have magnetic properties, and they are permanent magnets, very similar to the magnets that you have in your refrigerator. So if you put these magnets that already have a lot of power in them inside the motor, you're able to create additional powers. No, probably you have seen that a Tesla can accelerate sometimes faster than some Ferraris. That is not because of the battery, that's because of the motor. And those motors, in the case of Tesla, for example, all the models, Model X, Model S, Model 3, all of them, they have a permanent magnets in their motors. So that's really the importance, no? As when we as a world, as a planet, start transitioning to a more electric world, we will need to use energy more efficiently, and the rare earths, the permanent magnets, play a very important role in that transition, in ensuring, in ensuring that the energy is used very effectively. Also, the other way around, no? Here we're using electric energy to generate a movement. But for example, take a wind turbine where you receive the power of the wind. That's a mechanical power, a mechanical, a force creating a mechanical power. If you put permanent magnets into those rotors, you will be able to create much more energy with the same amount of power. No? So there you have two very clear applications for rare earths that are very important in the future to come.
That's great. I definitely learned something today. So thanks for that. And as we mentioned, the company is focused on ionic clay deposits in Chile. Let's talk a little bit about Chile as a mining jurisdiction. What can you tell us?
Thank you. Yes, let me focus for 2 seconds on the concept of ionic clays. No, as I mentioned, rare earths are not rare. But ionic clays are very rare. And why are ionic clays special? They have 3 very important characteristics. The first one is that the metallurgy is very simple. You can extract rare earths from ionic clays just using water and a common fertilizer, which is ammonium sulfate. The second advantage is, I told you, Aaron, a little bit earlier, that all rare earths are not created equal. Well, ionic clays contain precisely the most demanded and high value rare earths, namely dysprosium and terbium. So second advantage is to have the right rare earths. And the third one, very importantly, they do not contain any material amounts of radioactivity, okay? So those 3 advantages make it very special. And when you talk about Chile, Chile is a fantastic country. Is a country that is A-rated by the credit agencies, so very comparable to many European countries and many high-quality countries. Is certainly a jurisdiction where you want to be, where you want to operate. It's a country that has a very long tradition in mining. No, there are a lot of important mining companies with operations in Chile, and it's a country that is currently looking to attract more investment into the country. So we're very pleased to be there with the right deposit. It's also a country that is highly demanding in terms of environmental standards to operate there. So we're very happy and very pleased, as I mentioned, to have the right deposit with the right process in order to operate in Chile.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a great situation. So, the company puts a large emphasis on ESG, which is a big discussion, especially, in the rare earth space. It's nice to hear that. Can you tell us more about that, and Aclara, how you guys put emphasis on ESG?
Certainly. So look, when we started to look for what we call the minerals of the future, one of the first things that we discarded was rare earths. Because typically rare earths are produced, you need a lot of energy, you need a lot of acid, you need a lot of water, and you have radioactive waste. Mm-hmm. So we said, that's certainly not a business that we want to be in. But given the characteristics that I mentioned to you with the ionic clays and the simplicity of the metallurgy, this is allowing us to have a process, and this is very important, and this is at the center of our value proposal. We have been able to develop a process, Aaron, that where we can extract the rare earths first without using explosives. Okay, so that reduces a noise and dust quite significantly. This is important for the neighboring communities. Second, we wanted to have a very low carbon footprint, so we do not use any crushing or milling. Then we take the clays into the plant. In the plant, we have a very simple process where we use water and ammonium sulfate, and we have developed or engineered sort of a kidney in the plant that allows us to recirculate water with an efficiency of 95%. And we're going to be recycling also the ammonium sulfate with an efficiency of 99%. So the fact that we're recirculating everything also allows us to not have any liquid or solid residue in the process. This means that Aclara will not have a tailings dam. And finally, so the clays, after being processed, they are washed with the recycled water, and they are returned, mostly returned, to the place where we originally took them. Important to mention that there is, again, let me emphasize that there's no radioactivity in the process, not as a waste, not in the final product. And we're in a place in Chile where the superficial land, we bought it from the forestry industry. So right now it has artificially grown pine and eucalyptus, but we're committing with local authorities that once we're done with our process, we're going to fully revegetate 100% all the areas, but not with pine and eucalyptus, but with native species. And in that way, we're going to recreate native forests in approximately, I would say, 150 hectares. And we're creating also a foundation. We're going to put those forests into a foundation so that they can stay there for posterity. This is a process that no one in the world is using. It's a process that we have patented. We are working right now in our second patent. And as I mentioned also earlier, Aaron, it's an award-winning process already. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, that's great. It's nice to see you putting such an emphasis on the environment and not damaging things. So, the company just announced the successful completion of its process flow sheet and an updated resource. That's obviously very significant. Congratulations. Can you tell us more about this?
Sure. Look, the process, we recently had a press release because we wanted to make sure that the market understands that although this process is new and innovative, we have done extensive testing, not only in professional labs, also at the University of Toronto. So that process is already fully complete. We are very proud, as I mentioned, that we are able to do a closed loop. We have baptized the process as circular mineral harvesting. I like that because it sounds less mining. It sounds even a little bit of more agricultural type of thing. I try to people refer to us as a mining company, but I think we're well beyond a mining company. Where right now we're fulfilling all the standards, for example, that the World Bank has defined in their concept of climate smart mining. No, I like that concept, and that's something that we're pursuing. And in terms of the resources, yes, we announced not long ago additional drill holes in the property that we have in Chile with very positive results. We're currently working on updating our resource estimates. That should be out in the market, hopefully in the coming weeks. Please pay attention to that. But what we can confirm is that we're in an area that is very rich for ionic clays. That these ionic clays have these valuable rare earths, and that the metallurgy continues to be, amenable to the ammonium sulfate reaction, which again is special to us because where do you find, a mining company that uses a fertilizer as their main reagent? No, so all very positive recent news that have been coming to the market. Yes,
definitely. So what other milestones should viewers look out for, let's say in the next 3 to 6 months?
Sure. Look, the single most important milestone that we need to achieve is obtaining the environmental permit. This permit is granted by the Chilean Environmental Services. we're going to present the case in the second quarter of next year. This is going to be quite important because we will start a process of getting the permit approved. In terms of providing, full disclosure, the company that had previously this deposit had already started an environmental permit that we had to retire at some point earlier this year to improve on the technical aspects, to improve on the social aspects, and improve also on the environmental aspects. But we will have a document that is going to be very, very robust. Again, leveraging a lot the knowledge and the research coming from local universities, the University of Chile in this case. So I think that is going to be an important milestone, no? Restarting that process. Also, we are starting to build a pilot plant. This pilot plant is going to be ready in June, July of next year. And the goal of that is to have samples to start our commercial conversations with potential OEMs or other companies that are further integrated into the magnet value chain. So I would say that those are the two single most important from an operation standpoint. And the third aspect that should come to the market is we have been drilling more, not only in Penco, but also in properties that are not in what we call our first module. So I think positive or hopefully positive news coming from exploration is something that the market is going to value a lot in the coming months.
Yes, it sounds like it's going to be a very exciting year for you guys. Well, thank you so much, Ramon, for all that information. And, I look forward to covering the story, the company, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you very much, Aaron.
If you like these videos, kindly hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And finally, always remember Departures Capital is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy or sell stock because you heard it on here. Buy or sell stock because you've done your research, you've done your thorough due diligence, and you're making your own personal investment decisions for yourself. This video is not financial advice. Furthermore, this video may or may not have been sponsored by the companies that we've profiled within this video, and we may or may not own shares of any of the profiled companies in this video. If you want to know the full disclosure details, check the description down below along with thoroughly reading our disclaimer. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.